type of thing. It's August 1972, and Ian Richardson, a future NASA scientist, is watching TV when the BBC announces
the interference is caused by solar activity.
He didn't know it then, but the sun had just erupted in one of the most powerful solar events ever recorded. There was no threat to humans because Earth's magnetic field deflects much of the sun's radiation. But the explosions were so powerful that intense radiation disrupted TV signals and caused radio blackouts. So what if you were outside Earth's magnetic field? On the moon and beyond, astronauts face the risk of extreme radiation exposure. Luckily, the intense radiation in 1972 occurred right between the Apollo 16 and 17 missions, when no astronauts were in their path. As NASA plans missions to go back to the moon and then onto Mars, predicting the sun's activity to protect astronauts from space radiation is one of our biggest priorities.
One of the biggest unknown factors about going to space is the radiation hazard from the sun.
This is Ian today, studying the effects of the sun, also known as the field of heliophysics.
The sun is always emitting radiation like the light we see, but certain energetic particles, like from the August 1972 events, can be far more harmful.
To be able to forecast solar energetic particles, we need to know how the sun energizes them. The sun is made up of electrically charged particles called plasma. As this plasma moves, it builds up energy inside its massive magnetic field. This energy is usually released in two types of explosions. Flares are intense flashes of light. Coronal mass ejections are giant eruptions of solar material.
These solar eruptions send shock waves across the solar system, accelerating particles as they go.
These are solar energetic particles, or SEPs. They consist mainly of protons and possess a lot of energy that can affect satellite measurements and humans.
SEPs can bombard you with a lot of radiation in a short period of time. They can penetrate your skin, damage your DNA, and increase your chances of getting cancer and radiation sickness.
But they don't occur with every solar eruption. Only a small number of flares and coronal mass ejections create SEPs.
So we're trying to predict when SEPs form and how they travel through space.
At NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, the Community Coordinated Modeling Center, or CCMC, is dedicated to testing prediction models. Working with global partners, they use data from NASA satellites at different vantage points and models to figure out how solar explosions behave, including how shockwaves energize SEPs. And as we get better at predicting, we get more time to prepare.
Preparation for an SEP event, of which you may know that is already coming and perhaps the magnitude as well, the technique that you would want to use is to put as much mass between you and the source.
On the surface of the moon or Mars, astronauts can go underground or build shelter with local materials. But in transit, astronauts can only be protected with what's on the spacecraft.
Which means that you might have elements on a spacecraft that have multiple purposes.
NASA's space radiation specialists are testing different ways to do this. One strategy they tested on the Orion spacecraft involves crew members barricading themselves with as much mass as possible in the center of the spacecraft. Other possible techniques in development include vests that add mass and electrically charged surfaces that deflect particles.
In terms of radiation protection and radiation mitigation, the factor of time is extraordinarily important.
The sun has a natural 11-year cycle that transitions through low and high activity, which is indicated by the number of sunspots on the surface. More sunspots mean more eruptions, resulting in a higher risk for SEPs. But during this increased solar activity, the sun's magnetic field strengthens, enhancing its shield against another important source of radiation, galactic cosmic rays. These are charged particles travelling at nearly the speed of light that are thought to come from supernova explosions from within our galaxy and possibly further out in the universe. If solar energetic particles are intense sporadic storms, then galactic cosmic rays are a constant drizzle. Galactic cosmic rays are more sparse, but also much more energetic. They include heavier elements that can penetrate through vast amounts of materials. Understanding the rate of galactic cosmic rays helps us determine how much time astronauts can spend in space safely. To date, humans have only been on the lunar surface for a cumulative total of about 12 days. A trip to Mars will take 6 to 10 months each way. That means even more radiation exposure. And so NASA is doing work to prepare for that.
The moon is going to be a test bed for us in order to be able to prepare for Mars. The more that we understand the impact and the duration of radiation on the moon, the more we can extrapolate that to the length of time that we will be spending in transit and on the surface of Mars.
Well, hello everybody. This is Scott Roberts, and this is the Explore Scientific's or Explore Alliance's OpenGOTO Community Live, and I am here with our regular cast of
characters.
I like to call them experts, okay, but but we do know they're characters too. So, cronies. That's right. The usual suspects, right? So we have Tyler Bowman and Jerry Hubbell here with us, and we're on our new schedule because we now have a new show called the FirstLight Chronicles. And hold on for a second, I'm losing my camera. We don't want to lose the camera. There we go.
You had your first episode yesterday, right, with Kent?
We did. Yeah, it was fun. It was with Kent Martz, and so I was challenging Kent to come up with these packages of some sort of telescope system that someone could buy for under $200. Okay, now certainly you could go and you could get a used telescope, or maybe even get one donated to you. And if you can, that's the best way to go, right? Tyler donated a telescope, right? So, Tyler, what did you donate?
I donated an Explorer FirstLight 102 with an Alt-Az mount.
102. So so that was you donated that because you felt that a 4-inch aperture was really kind of the bottom limit of where they should go, right?
Yeah, that'll get your foot in the door. That'll get you introduced to astronomy, and you can grow with it because it can be used for a multitude of things.
That's true.
Think about what a 4-inch was like back in the 60s and 70s. A 4-inch was a huge refractor for an amateur.
Oh yeah,
back then.
Yeah. If you had a Unitron was a very popular telescope back then, and the Unitrons, the 4-inch refractor, I think sold for over $1,000 at the time.
Yeah,
when I was selling them. This would have been back in the 80s. So I mean, I ran at the very first part of this program a photo of myself that was 1984, and OPT is not yet called OPT at this point. So you can see that the sign, in fact, let me see if I can just show it to you real quick. You can see the sign up there. Let me pin this up here. There we go. You can see the sign says Oceanside Photographic Center. So this is 1984. That's me over there explaining how to use a Celestron telescope. These two people were interested in buying a portable first telescope. So I think I'm showing them like a C90 or something, or some little refractor. I'd have to study the photograph a little bit closer.
You're over there on the left, all the way to the left.
All the way over to the other left there. I'm 24 years old at the time. This is 1984.
Kid in the picture, Jerry. It's the kid, remember?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Exactly.
And that particular event was one of the very first multi-vendor events. We had Coulter Optics. I invited them down. I don't know if you guys remember Coulter. You're too young, Tyler, but Coulter So, you might see them. They were some of the first commercially available Dobsonians, and so they had a line from I think they had the smallest one was an 8-inch, and then they had a 10-inch, And then they had a 13.1, and then they had these odd aperture sizes, a 13.1, a 17, and then their biggest one ever was a 29, which I only saw once. For what I understand, the 29 actually didn't work very well because they didn't have the mounting system proper for that big giant 29-inch mirror, and the scope was just ginormous. It didn't come apart or anything. It was one huge sonotube inside of a wooden box on a wooden rocker. This thing must have weighed hundreds of pounds, I would think.
Yeah, 500 pounds or something, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, they had it at the Riverside Telescope Makers Conference, and I remember I was really excited to go see it, but I was so busy working the show that I couldn't get over there. But it was still, it was very cool. The 17s worked really good. I had a 13.1, and that's what I started out with. But I've been doing those kinds of events since that time. Actually, before that time, I started out just by wheeling a big telescope out front of the store. This is on Hill Street in Oceanside, and realized that I should formalize it somehow. We started an astronomy club called, after OPT, we called it the Oceanside Photo and Telescope Astronomical Society, or OPTIS. And that had a big club membership. It had like 600 members or something at one time, which was big at the time. And but I got to cut my teeth on learning more about astronomy, learning more about astrophotography. We had people from Palomar Observatory coming down, and Caltech, and JPL. They would come and visit the store because we had so many telescopes on the floor. At that time, we had about 100 different models on the floor, so it was very unusual at that time. But these days, most of the showrooms are gone, and we buy stuff online. And so shows like this, where we do things through social media and our regular broadcasting, are meant to give you some of the direct access to people that are involved in the industry and people that actually do astrophotography, and so it gives you an opportunity to ask them questions and to see how they really perform during the global star parties. All kinds of different telescopes. So you can see that. But let's see who we have with us today. I think a lot of our regulars here. A guy named Ollie Crabtree. He was on earlier. I had to leave. He said for 15 minutes, and he'd be back maybe.
He's the gentleman that I sent the telescope to.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep.
Okay. This other one, Coloco or Calaco? It's hard to read. It's purple on a blue background, so very difficult to read. James the astrophotographer is here with us. Book Davies is with us. Dale Beasley is with us. Aaron Thompson. Marco Pola. Let's see, Michael Whitaker.
What'd be cool to do is if people could send us their photographs so we could show some of these regulars.
Oh yeah.
I actually, well, do you mean my pictures of the individuals?
Sure.
Yeah, I know.
In fact, I just checked my email, Scott, and Ollie Crabtree sent me some pictures of the telescope.
Oh, well, let's see what you got here. Let's see what you got here. Very cool.
We can hear Kent in the background.
I'm sorry. I told you he was on the phone. I can't help it.
He's on a Zoom meeting.
All sorts of cool stuff, but they're worried about.
All right, so there's again, he's got a FirstLight 102 with an Alt-Az mount. That's too much, and y'all can't see that. Hang on, I gotta do this again.
Right here.
Here.
Is now.
Let's do
And
show
There
and
we go.
tell.
I'm trying.
Oh, well, check that out.
So there's Orion's Nebula that he got.
Now, is this with a
cool.
smartphone, or how did he
This
do
is
that?
this is with the smartphone adapter that comes with our Explore FirstLight series.
Oh,
So
wow.
you're actually able to take a picture through the eyepiece with these telescopes,
That's very cool.
and that's what's great about these scopes.
Now,
I
this
do
is
have.
no tracking, nothing, right? Just
This is just him taking a picture
through the eyepiece.
through the eyepiece. This one Jerry's gonna really like, but I have to unshare and reshare again.
Okay.
This and this, and there's the picture of the moon.
Oh, wow, it's good.
Oh,
With the
nice.
tel-
Oh,
with the
that's
telescope.
good.
Pretty sharp.
I can tell you that's better than what I did with my first refractor with a Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I
yeah,
had
this
Polaroid camera.
this again was with that 14-year-old boy that said he didn't have the funds or the means to get one, and I did the good deed for the week or for the year.
For the
And
year.
this is what he's able to do with just a cell phone and an eyepiece.
That's great.
That's
So
awesome.
Michael Whitaker, eat that.
Oh, jeez.
Just kidding, Michael. You take great pictures with a cell phone, but still.
But still.
But still.
That's exploratory.
But I want to mute myself so kids not screaming in the background real
See,
quick.
this will teach the basics about focus and everything else to take photographs, getting the focus right and everything else, you know.
Right. Who else do we have with us? I see that Cesar Brolo down in Argentina is watching. He was on the last Global Star Party. He got actually a pretty good view of Jupiter through his telescope. It was settled down every once in a while. He had wind, which they call him 100-mile-per-hour Caesar, but he had some wind and it was blowing the scope around a little bit, but then it would settle out and then you could see like banding on Jupiter and stuff. I don't know. It's just cool that he can capture something on his telescope down in Argentina, share it with us in the United States, and then we can broadcast it all over the world. I just think that's so cool. I know I keep marveling over that, and it's kind of the norm.
Well,
Maybe
that's
not
what
the norm.
happens when you leverage $100 billion worth of internet connectivity.
$1 trillion.
$1 trillion worth of internet.
$1 trillion worth of
infrastructure.
internet connectivity around the world. That's right. That Uncle Scotty gets to use for free, right? I just have to pay my bills. Let's see. We got some interesting comments here. Stefan is also watching us. Chuck Lewis is watching us. Stefan says, I was imaging with H alpha last night, almost a full moon, but I always have trouble focusing. Using Sequence Generator Pro with autofocus. I had to do that. I had to do between 19 and 25 seconds, but I couldn't get that V curve and the lowest HFR value, which was 2.4. What do you think, Tyler?
That's not bad.
Jerry? It's not bad.
Not bad. I mean, you get what you get because your sky will give you whatever it has, and the V curve should trace that correctly. I mean, if you get a high HFD value, that means your sky is not very good typically. Is that what you would say?
Mm-hmm. So everything's about the seeing.
Yep. So Stefan, the tip is go to someplace with better seeing conditions. Let your scope.
But an HFD of 2.5, that's in pixels. I assume that's pixels. That means he's pretty well critically sampled.
Right.
Seems like.
But astrophotographers are never satisfied with how sharp things look, right?
No.
Never.
No.
Never. So. So the fact that you're asking means that you're on a path of continual improvement, which is good. He says, LRGB autofocus works a treat at 6 seconds, but the H alpha is the issue.
Yeah, you have to have a long image. That's just part of it. Your seeing
right?
builds up.
Jerry, what about the nanometer? What nanometer is he running on the filter?
There's this.
Yes, it's a very probably 7 nanometer. I would expect.
Well,
maybe.
it could, if the higher the number, the more that you're trying to push
More
through.
Right. But again, if you have to integrate over a longer time, like 30 seconds as opposed to 5 seconds or even 2 seconds, which is a broadband filter will do 2 seconds pretty easily. But 30 seconds, that just gives the sky more and more opportunity to make a blobby star. So with a 30-second image, you can't expect, great focus or great unblobby stars because of the long period of imaging. It just builds up over time. The seeing builds up over time and makes it blobbier.
Yeah.
Scott, you're told to stop yawning. You're making everybody tired. Stop yawning.
That's how you know if your audience is watching you. If you yawn on stage, okay, and then they yawn, you know they're paying attention to you.
Tim Meyer says I need to invest, or you need to invest in me an actual headset with a microphone in it to drown out Kent.
Doesn't work, really. I don't think. So what we need to invest in is like a little studio where we can throw Tyler in there, right?
Why do I got to be the guinea pig?
You need to get that thing like it was on Get Smart. Remember that cone of silence they used to lower down?
Oh
to
yeah,
be
the
top
cone of
secret?
silence, right? Or the plexiglass.
The top secret
you.
conversations.
Right. Of course, everybody else could hear except for the people inside the cones, right?
Right.
There was always a problem with it.
Tyler doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yes, I do.
They did a
Thank
remake
you.
of Get Smart in
Oh,
Tyler's
yeah, that's
era,
true.
whatever that era is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. What generation are you,
I'm
Tyler?
unfortunately a millennial. I classify as a millennial. Doesn't mean that I am one. I can promise you that.
Really?
I work.
Oh, you actually do work. That's right.
I work, and I earn trophies.
That's a
I don't want
diss
one
on
given to
working
me.
millennials, you know. There's working millennials too, right?
I prefer to work for a trophy, not have one handed to me.
It's a participation.
I don't
award.
care. I need to win to get it.
See, that's the thing. Participating is its own reward, right?
For all you millennials who bought an Explore Scientific telescope, I apologize. Because you had to work
Participating is its own
at something
reward.
to get one, right? So,
No,
unless you got it from Tyler and he just gave it to you.
we had to earn it.
That's right.
Speaking of earn it, we're about to wrap up on the astrophotography contest. So that's
Tell us
gonna-
more about it. Tell us more about it.
So I don't want to give away any details as far as prizes, but let's just say they're going to be good.
Okay.
They're going to be real good,
Real good.
real
Okay.
good.
All
So
right.
everybody with any Explore Scientific equipment, be ready and start throwing in your entries.
So you get like a new Tesla or something? Is it like that good?
Sure. No, it's not
A
that
new
good.
Cybertruck. That'd be cool.
Cybertruck.
Yeah, I'll buy you the little Hot Wheels version. Sure. Yeah.
That'd be a
Anyways,
little-
it's going to be
little
cool,
something.
guys. It's going to be cool.
Yeah,
You're an
we're
Explore Scientific owner. I guess there's going to be rules, right? Yeah.
There's definitely going to be rules.
You know what the rules are now or not?
I do know what the rules are. Let's see. For the initial contest, we're looking for best of best in 7 imaging categories: deep sky objects, planetary, solar, lunar, wide field, time lapse, and terrestrial. I'm not going to disclose what the prizes are right now. You'll just have to stay tuned for that. Entries will be accepted through 12 o'clock UTC or 6 a.m. Central Standard Time everybody will know when they're able to enter. And the contest will end December 24th. We'll provide a link with all the rules and everything. You have to be an Explore Alliance member to participate in the actual contest, which it's free. I don't know why you're not one of already, because it's a free membership.
Right. Right.
And once you enter the actual contest, then you give us permission to use your images however we see fit. But first place winners will get a great prize. Second place winners will get an amazing prize. Third place will get an even better prize. And there will be a best in show category as well for each individual category.
Right.
So I'm going to be shooting a video on it tomorrow with more explanation on it. This is just a quick rendition of it. We just got to get with some people to finalize it so we can move forward with it.
Right.
Other than that, this is our first annual one, and I hope there's going to be plenty more after.
I imagine there will be. And also we will be, with the Astronomical League, we are preparing to do we're supporting their Astrophotography Award, and so that's something new that's coming up as well. So I'm excited about that. And we had a conversation with the league about expanding that. I don't know if it will or not, but on the Global Star Party, we've had these space artists come on. Last night's featured space artist was Chris Wade, and really interesting guy. He lives in Huntsville, Alabama, and surrounded by all kinds of rockets and space artifacts that are out there, and that has inspired him. Really interesting stuff. Hope to have him back on the show sometime. But I was talking with Terry Mann about it, and the thought of maybe having space art and music actually as part of some of their like the Astronomical League conventions and stuff like that. So that's part of our culture. It doesn't just stop at astrophotography or getting a new telescope. It's the whole thing. It's the whole shebang, as I like to say. So, yes.
There's a funny comment. Gary Palmer wants to know if he can enter.
Gary Palmer.
I don't know. That name doesn't ring a bell, so I don't know, guys.
Maybe we could have like a pro level. Okay.
Now you're just adding more to work for me.
Yeah. Maybe we need a pro level. If you're considered pro somehow. I don't know. If you've ever made money, okay. If you've ever made money,
yeah.
All right.
Okay, yeah, you're a pro then.
If you've ever made money, then that might make you a pro level. So if you sell your astrophotography, or if you do things like maybe give classes on how to improve your astrophotography, I would consider you to be pro, okay? And so a number of astrophotographers actually come to mind for me, Wally Pacholka, a number, even like Terry Mann, she sells her aurora photographs and stuff. She's very, very good. Incredible, really, and but she would be pro in my mind, So there's got to be kind of an amateur level where you've never sold or given a workshop or received money in any way. Then I would say that's the amateur level. There's some very, very good amateur astrophotographers out there. So, so I think that they would be. Entering, but yeah, I am going to set that threshold. That's only fair.
Okay, more work for me. Let me be specific on some of these rules. Again, I know I told everybody I'd come out with a different video, but there's a lot of questions popping up. There needs to at least be one piece of Explore Scientific equipment, whether that be a telescope, a mount, telescope or a mount, must be used in the capture of the submitted image. Entrants must identify equipment and imaging data in the appropriate sections on the form below. Also, entrants must read and abide by the rules of the photos released at the time of submission. They are included in one form below, and entrants may enter more than one photo into the contest. However, each photo must be submitted on a separate form. And I need to throw one more on there. All pros must enter and pay Explore Scientific bukus of money.
That's not
Just
fair.
Just kidding. I'll have to make a
Dave
subcategory.
Ing says, how about limiting it? And Dave Ing was on the Star Party last night too. Thank you for being on. But he says, how about limiting it to astrophotographers who have only been doing this for, say, the last 8 months, okay?
I don't care if you've been doing it for 2 days. 2 days to 20 years.
I think Dave's been doing it for
Maybe,
like
Dave's
8
got some good
months,
stuff.
right?
Don't let him pull your leg. He's got good stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Maybe that's part of the form, is to add on how long have you been doing astrophotography. We have to take,
that
take
would be
people.
interesting to know, that's for sure.
We could take people for their word. I mean, we can trust most everybody, although
Sure.
Not that anybody would cheat, you know.
Gary Palmer says, "Can you send me a 100-degree eyepiece for the camera adapter?" Smile.
Which
face.
one? Which one, Gary? There's more than one of 100-degree.
Maybe he wins one because we're going to give a 100-degree eyepiece for our 100th.
That's coming up Monday. That's coming
that
up
what-
Monday.
is that what
Is
the
it
prize
Monday?
is gonna
it
be?
really Monday?
I believe. Well, today's what, the
Monday?
98th?
Wednesday. It's probably Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? What's today? The
Oh,
97th?
you're not doing them every day now. So, you're doing it every other day.
It's 3 days. 3 days. So it's Friday, Monday, Wednesday. It's next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
You forgot Thursday. Today's
You're
Wednesday.
not on Thursday.
Well, I would love
Oh,
to have
okay.
something out.
Yeah, Ken is.
Well, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's like college classes. You know, you either got Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Don't remind me of school,
Right.
please.
They can drive
I have to
no
take your
more
class. That's torture enough.
That's just on Fridays.
That's right.
Exactly. And it feels like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. So what we're doing, the school that Tyler's alluding to here is part of our mentor program. And we've been formalizing our education and training. First off, doing it internal, but we will be doing it externally. And so probably starting that next year, we will start to begin workshops where you can be on and take some of the training exercises that we actually train here. And so, but of course, it'll have to be something that is more not so specific, with a lot of the policies and stuff that we follow here, working internally, but just something that benefits you. So. Mike Wiesner says, I need a smartphone adapter that fits the ES 14mm 100-degree eyepiece. Mike, you have one, I think. You've got that, some sort of aftermarket brand, super duper eyepiece holder. I'm not sure. But we are looking at something like that for sure. Let's see. What other comments do we have?
I just got a message from Ian Morrison, who's
Okay.
an author, and we invited him on the show this week. He's going to come on with us on Friday afternoon, so he's good with that. And he's watching the show right now. So hi, Ian. How you doing?
Right. Hey, Tyler, this is something that we need to fix. This is Stefan. He says, I'm just creating an account online for Explore Scientific so I can get the Alliance membership, but Australia isn't listed as a country, question mark.
Catherine, do you have?
I'll get on it right now.
Yeah.
Is that because it isn't? No, that's not true.
Oh, you are in
Wow.
trouble, mister.
No, whoever
You
made
are
that
in
list
trouble.
up, whoever made that list up didn't think it was a country, apparently.
I don't know what to say to you right now.
I don't know what to say either.
God.
But Stefan, I'll give you Jerry's home phone number so you can tell him directly what you
Screw
think.
that. I'm buying the plane ticket. But be
Yeah,
mindful. He
I'm-
might give you a saw and make you go
That's
jump down a
okay.
tree.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's right. I was standing in line one time at an airport, and we almost missed our plane, and I asked a couple that was obviously not going to where I was going if I could cut in line, and they said yes, and we got there was this big fight that happened because there were other people waiting in line. Maybe it was insensitive of me, but I needed to get back home because there were people in different countries that didn't like the American asking, and so there were words that were thrown back at me as being an
Yeah.
American. I felt bad.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Maybe if you had asked to join their family, then it would have been okay.
maybe. You're full of it today, Jerry.
Then it's a family member. Then it's a family. Yeah.
You
yeah.
are. Okay. All right. Back to business here. CFox 0011 says, I have an Exos 2 question. Can you recommend a saddle adapter that converts the Vixen dovetail to a Losmandy clamp?
Well,
I think there is one.
The
Let's see.
ADM may offer one.
ADM,
That
you're
will
right.
fit.
They may have something like that.
That's
ADM Vixen to Losmandy adapter.
Okay, I have
I know-
your. Go ahead, Jerry. Sorry.
we're also working on one of those, right, Scott? I don't know if
We
I'm
have
giving
talked
anything
about it.
away.
We have
We've
talked about it. But I
right.
think I'm thinking going the other way. ADM does make something. It's about $120. It's a Vixen saddle to Losmandy saddle converter. Number V is in Victor, 2 is in number 2, and D is in David. $120. High Point Scientific has them. So,
So
Yeah.
Scott, I got a question for you.
okay.
Who is the gentleman that lives in Australia that can't get the Explorer Alliance membership?
Let me find him
I
again.
can't remember his name. Because I was going to give him my email address and we'll set him up until we get that fixed.
Stefan.
Stefan Del Proya.
Yes.
Stefan, if you're on still, give me a shout on an email at tyler@explorerscientific.com with all your information, and we'll create an account for you until we get this country issue resolved.
Yep. Richard Gray says a new saddle plate in Losmandy D for the Exos 2 would be awesome. I think that this ADM V2D Vixen saddle to Losmandy saddle converter would be the hot ticket right there. So, Sir Jerry, this is from Ken Noble. Did you get my email regarding the right key on the Explore Stars app?
The right key. He sent me an email.
He said he sent you an email.
When was it? Can you say when he sent it to me? Because I don't recall that question.
Let's see if he responds to that.
I'm looking for the emails now. I don't.
Here, let me see if I can.
I
while
may
you're
have
doing that, if I
misplaced
can
it.
Find the link.
I may have misplaced it.
V2D Vixen saddle. Losmandy saddle. Adapter.
Did he send the email to my jrh@explorescientific.com?
Don't know.
Scott, are you looking for a Celestron XYZ eyepiece thing?
Am I looking for one? No.
Okay.
Are you?
I thought that's what I heard you type in something for eyepiece.
No. ADM V2D Vixen
Oh.
saddle to Losmandy saddle converter. So I just put up the link to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Changing the heads out.
Changing the heads out. Somebody wants to use that.
Oh, yeah.
Ken Noble says, yes, sir, I did. Yes, I did, sir, Jerry.
Gary needs to quit with his suggestions.
Yeah. Should I do an imaging competition with the Galileo scope? Actually, I would recommend it, Gary.
Dagnabbit, Gary, quit it.
Why not? That's right. It has to be with a Galileo scope. We have to make an adapter so the Galileo scope fits on the IXOS 100. Caesar says, I have a question for Jerry. I resolved in part the configuration to return the IXOS to Wi-Fi Star Explorer Stars use. But sometimes was missed again. I used the PMC configuration module, but this required connection to the PC to the PMC8. Yesterday, I did not have another computer. My only one was connected to Zoom. Is there another mode available to reconfigure by serial mode?
Instead of the
Wi-Fi.
the configuration manager is what we always suggest, right? But you can use a terminal program, a telnet program, and do it manually by connecting directly to the PMC8. So if you're in wireless mode, that's a network protocol. So you would get on with a telnet. You would telnet to the item, and then issue the ESX command to switch it to serial. Or if you're in serial mode, you would go to a serial terminal program and issue the ESX command, and then it would switch over to Wi-Fi. So that's a toggle command. So yeah, there's a manual way of doing it outside of the configuration manager. And the nice thing about that is that it doesn't matter what platform you have the terminal program on. Like if you have a Mac, you could theoretically connect the PMC8 to the serial port on the Mac, a USB port on the Mac, and convert it over to Wi-Fi with that ESX command through the terminal, or you could do it connected over the Wi-Fi again and switch it over to serial mode without having a PC. There are also dongles, I believe, for your tablets, that theoretically you could get a terminal program on your tablet and use this hardware dongle to connect up to the PMC8 if it's in serial mode and switch it over to Wi-Fi and do the same thing. So, but you have to know a little bit more about how to do the communications and a little bit more about using a telnet program or a serial communications program terminal.
Okay. Is there some place where you can go read about that, or are you going to reach out to Caesar, help him out?
Yeah, Caesar, I need to probably talk to you offline about it and maybe route you to some tools that you might be able to find useful. So yeah, that'd be good. Just email me, Caesar, and I'll respond back. jrh@explorescientific.com.
Yeah. You know, we had lots of interesting comments about the Global Star Party. I was reaching out to Rodrigo Zeleda, and I was just asking him, you know, being that he's in Chile and speaks Spanish, and they don't speak a lot of English down there, you know, recommending that he, you know, because he has people all over the country of Chile watching, and you know, I think it would be better if he, you know, he shows during his presentation to speak Spanish, so the Spanish-speaking audience can tune into that, and then, you know, also do English on top of that, just to give it kind of an international connection. But he was, let's see, he said some interesting things here, and let me see if I can find it. Here it is. He mentioned that people all over Chile are indeed watching, and that sales, because of that, have been really brisk. What he said was interesting, though, is that he said in La Serena, now La Serena is so close to the observatories, he said there's not a lot of interest locally in that town in amateur astronomy, that most of his business comes from all over the rest of Chile. And I was really curious about that. It's sort of like you live in New York City, you have all your life, and you've never been to the Statue of Liberty, ever, you know? And there are people like that. They have no interest in going. They're just, yeah, I've seen it. It's over there. I know about it. Or they've never been to the top of the Empire State Building, or those kinds of things, you know?
Right.
So I'm just kind of curious, if you're too close to the fire, okay, do you become like desensitized to it, you know? You know, you would think that in Hollywood everybody would want to be in the movies. Well, there's the movie industry in Studio City and Hollywood and that kind of thing, but not everybody wishes to be in that, you know, involved in that. So maybe it's like that. I don't know. But the bottom line is that he's getting reach all over his country, and I think that if he would talk about his astrophotography in Spanish, and Caesar, also for you too, I know you're watching, I think that if we have kind of a bilingual part of this. You know, you speak a little bit in Spanish, you speak a little bit in English, like that. I think that we'll have even greater reach. You know, so I think that's important. The comments back about Australia are pretty funny in here. Stefan's laughing. He says he will see you in 24 hours.
Well,
That's right.
yeah, whoever created that website screwed me up.
That's what it was. Blame it on the web developer.
Yeah, because he left the country out.
They always do. Somebody wanted to know if we have an office in the UK. We don't officially. We do have dealers that sell Explore Scientific product in the UK, but we don't have an office there. In Europe, our main offices are in Reda, Germany, and so that would be through the Bresser office there, and there's a fairly sizable staff that works over there. So,
just to let you, Jay Richard, I got Jay Richard's email asking me the question.
Okay.
So I'll be responding to Jay here in a little bit.
Okay. All right.
So a substitute, Tim Meyer says, instead of buying a headset and a microphone, how about a dome at the house?
I tell you what, Tyler, I will sell you one of our domes, and you can just make micro payments for the rest of your life, okay? And then you can sit in there and, you know, do your broadcast.
Deal,
huh? Okay, that's good. Mike Wiesner saying that our eyepiece is just slightly too large for the diameter of his adapter. Fits the other 100-degree eyepieces. Okay.
Mike, there's a guy on our forum. His name's Mike Lemus. He does 3D printing a bunch of different stuff. So if you would
we have
post a
3D
message asking
here.
Mike. Yeah, Mike Lemus. Well, you offering to print something for him? Is that what you're saying?
Everything's for a price.
Why not?
Mike would be able to work with you on that.
One of the products I am working on is a new smartphone adapter. So that's Mike Wiesner is kind of the guru of smartphone astrophotography. Yeah, we'll send one to him. After telling my story about the people telling me, you know, being angry that I cut in line, they said, Yanks, don't go home. Hey, actually, where I was, I would have rather been there, but, you know, that's true.
Scott, I do have a question about Explorer Alliance Platinum membership.
Okay.
So I have a customer that's curious if it'll cover 2 telescopes, or does it cover 1?
Covers everything that they own from Explore Scientific.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so if they bought Bresser microscope, a rifle scope, a laser rangefinder, a bunch of eyepieces, all that stuff, it covers everything. It's a great benefit of that membership. Stuff that we sell that only has like 1-year warranties and stuff, it covers that too.
That's like the PMC8 system.
PMC8, everything. Doesn't matter. So it would extend, the care for, that product. It's product care. It's not the warranty. So, and the product care is a benefit of membership. So we take it the extra level. Ken Noble wants to know, do you guys plan on introducing a guide scope package like Bresser for 2021? I don't know.
Yeah, we had a question on the forum actually about that guide package. They were asking about how to connect it up and whether the cameras. Mm-hmm. My question, I was looking at the website on the Bresser website. I didn't know if it didn't see anything about an ASCOM driver for the camera to be able to use it with the pulse guiding. If you want to use pulse guiding with that system, it requires an ASCOM driver for the camera. It does come with the standard ST4 port, cable port, so you can use it with that. But my question is whether that system has an ASCOM driver. Did you see that message, Tyler, on the forum about that auto guiding system?
I did, and I do believe you would have to download the actual ASCOM driver for the guiding for that particular camera that is used.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if it has one. That's what my question was.
What was the camera again? I don't have it up in front of me.
It's a Bresser camera.
It's a little one, like a little auto guider
No,
camera.
it's just exactly like a QHY5
5.2 or 5LL.
It might be a clone of that, or maybe that repackaged or relabeled.
Yeah, it's made by a different company. It's not QHY.
Okay, well then, yeah, it might be similar to the Orion.
In the States here, we are selling QHY cameras. We are, we're of course a dealer for them. But we can special order any of the cameras that they have. And any of the products that they have. They do the same with us. They buy stuff from us and sell it over there too. So if there's something that you want, you see on the Bresser site, we don't have it on our site, you can contact Tyler or any of the customer service reps, and they will take down a special order for you. So
Gary even says that they do have ASCOM drivers for them. So they probably are QHY 5II or 5LL.
Right.
So Chuck Lewis, he had a question. He says, what level of membership is the one to get for the best product care that we have? And it's the $100 level. But I'm going to remind you that when you send in your $100, we're going to give you a $100 gift card back. Okay,
so it's free.
It's free if you were going to buy more Explore Scientific stuff, right? So,
but with more benefits.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I don't even know, as we go forward with the Explore Alliance, I don't know that I will in the future offer anything but that one level of membership. I think that
it's the best bang for your buck.
It just doesn't
literally, and you get your money back.
You get all your money back, so, and you can spend it with a dealer or you can spend it with us. So
the wonderful
would be a great.
It has to be Explore Scientific stuff that you're buying. But
it'd be a great birthday gift. It'd be a great birthday gift to give somebody a membership. I mean, Alliance membership.
If you ask somebody,
gift card. I mean,
if they wanted to buy a new eyepiece or something, most of the eyepieces.
Or to get some young person. Get a young person to gift to buy a telescope from us with a gift card. And get into astronomy.
But the best thing I like not only is the advanced care replacement or the advanced replacement care, but you get to know what's coming up as far as what we're working on. You get first dibs on it before anybody else.
That's right. That's right. There are other promotions and stuff that we're going to be offering every month for our members. So and you won't be able to get them any other way. You'll need to join at some level. So anyhow, Ken said the thing that attracted me was the guide scope having a focal length of 500 millimeters.
That's crazy. I wouldn't use it because my ED80 is 480. That's
well, there's some trade-offs. I mean, that's a pretty long focal length. You limit the number of stars. 250 to 300 is a sweet spot. It gives high enough resolution to guide accurately, but also wide enough to have enough stars to guide on.
Right. And probably be pointed anywhere in the sky and be assured you're going to get stars, right?
Right. It gets a little sparse, away from the Milky Way. So that's really the limiting case for that.
Yeah. Marco Polo says, I use my $100 gift card towards my observatory tent. Perfect. Smart man. Astro Beard says, Richard Gray says, I see a lot of stars in my ED80. And Chef's Wise is asking, can I register my 3-year-old Explore Scientific Eyepieces on the Platinum Alliance membership? Yes, you can. That's the idea, you know. So let's say that you didn't register your product with Explore Scientific. Technically, you don't have a warranty, okay? You got to register to get your warranties. So for anybody that has bought a bunch of Explore Scientific gear, and you want to continue to get the specials and the promotions and the benefits, do the $100 level. You'll get a gift card back for $100. Go buy an Explore Scientific Observatory 10 or whatever, or wait for one of our deals to come by, okay? And then you can get a super deal, get $100 back on it, and that works out for you. As long as you remember, you have to re-up every year, but as long as you remember, you have this this blanket of product care that no one else offers. So I think it's a great deal. It would be something I'd want for myself, So Wolfgang says, a friend of mine takes pictures with a 135 millimeter Samyang and guides with a 2000 millimeter refractor. Wow. That sounds very old school to me, though, because back in the old days on film, you needed a very long focal length scope versus what you were shooting at. The old rule of thumb is that you needed 3 times more focal length, and some guys went 5 times more focal length than what you were shooting at. But you needed to
That's crazy.
You had to have adjustments for your telescope, and you had to have a big scope on top of your other telescope. So one of the problems that a lot of people ran into is differential flexure. The scope's bending as it's tracking through the sky, and the guide scope is bending differently than the scope you're shooting through. And so you get star trails, okay?
Yeah.
So that was something that would drive people crazy.
That goes on today. That still goes on today.
Oh, I'm sure it does. But having a smaller, lighter weight, 250 millimeter or 300 millimeter scope, and a relatively lightweight, auto-guiding camera, you can rest assured that you probably can get mounting rings and stuff that are going to really hold that thing, in place. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ollie says, which T-ring should I use to attach a DSLR? There are just so many on the internet, which makes it confusing to know which ones will work. Okay. If we're talking about your 102, there is an adapter that Explore Scientific sells. Let's see if I can find it for you. As far as the T-mount itself, you can buy that from anywhere. There's nothing special about it.
T-mounts are standard for each camera type.
That's right.
And
let's see.
I'm going to share my screen for a minute while you're looking for that. I'm going to share a story I ran across here. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
Where's my story at? Give me a second. I had it here. I'm trying to fill up the airtime so we don't get too lost.
Yeah.
My Chrome. There it is. All right. So, share. My Chrome. Share.
I think this one would work for you, Ollie. This is a 2-inch one. If you needed a 1 1/4 inch one, then, there are places that sell them. Let me see if I can find one for you.
So the story I'm sharing was just recently reported. The Sophia Observatory discovers water on sunlit surface of the moon. The Sophia is a flying observatory mounted in a 747. If you're not familiar with it, I believe that's right. It's a stratospheric observatory for infrared astronomy. It's mounted in a 747. It's pretty cool if you look it up. But they discovered water on the lit side of the moon. Basically, everybody thought
Yeah.
in the deep shadows of the South Pole there'd be water in the in the that are always dark. But there's also spots on the face of the moon that are always dark also, that the Sophia discovered in the crater Clavius. So NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy has confirmed for the first time water on the sunlit surface of the moon. This discovery indicates that water may be distributed across the lunar surface and not limited to cold, shadowed places, although it is technically a cold, shadowed place if there's water there.
Yes. Sure.
So
Real
Sophia has
cold.
detected, yeah, that's right. So Sophia has detected water molecules in Clavius crater, one of the largest craters visible from Earth, located in the moon's southern hemisphere. Previous observations of the moon's surface detected some form of hydrogen, but were unable to distinguish between water and its close chemical relative hydroxyl OH. Data from this location reveals water in concentrations of 100 to 412 parts per million, roughly equivalent to a 12-ounce bottle of water per cubic meter of soil. We had
Wow.
indications
It's
that
going to take a lot
H2O,
of work to get that.
yeah, well, but 1 cubic meter of soil is not that much soil. I mean, considering you get a 12-ounce bottle of water out of one.
So like 3 feet by 3 feet by three
Yeah,
feet,
right.
right?
Exactly. Right.
I guess you could run it through like some sort of trough or
Yeah, you
something
got a
like
big
that, and
machine. You got a big machine mining
yeah.
that water. It's going to come up with a lot of water. Um, we had indications that H2O, the familiar water we know, might be present on the sunlit side of the moon, said Paul Hertz, director of Astrophysics Division in the Science Mission Directorate at NASA headquarters in Washington. Now we
Hmm.
know it's there. This discovery challenges our understanding of the lunar surface and raises intriguing questions about resources relevant for deep space exploration. And I think this also talks to, there is a very slight atmosphere on the moon people don't realize.
Yeah.
There is
Goodness.
molecules floating around the surface of the moon, and some of it might be this OH form of water, hydroxyl form of water,
Hmm.
that's close to the surface. And there's other elements that are floating around there too. So it's not a complete vacuum like it is away from the moon. Um, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Martin Eastburn comments. He says one thing to know is that the Earth and the Moon are bombarded with chunks of ice every day, and there are comet slash rock hunters that look for the in the Arctic, as the ice doesn't melt there. Huh. I get. I suppose some meteorites we've found that have water molecules inside of them. So, searching for
Yeah.
meteors and or meteorites and the composition of meteorites is so interesting. You know, I really love it. Wish
Yeah,
I
I'm
could
not
make
sure
the trip to Antarctica myself.
yeah, I'm not sure how big the chunks of particulate matter that come off of comets, that's water, ice, and other gases that we pass through for these meteor showers are just basically comet tails that we pass through. And if there's water coming down from that, then that would be on the moon also, I would think, those kinds
Hmm.
of fragments.
Right. It'll be very interesting to see if we can grow gardens underground, and you know, I mean, if people can have grow labs in their in their homes, I guess we can do it under in a tunnel in a lava tube inside of the moon somewhere.
Well, the thing is to be able to take that regolith soil and add nutrients to it and make plants grow in it. It
Right?
seems to me like it's like cement. It kind of looks like cement, It's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
powdery and you
It's
know,
so fine though.
yeah, it's really fine.
The thing to really worry about is moon dust, and breathing it in, because it will coat your lungs. I mean, it's going to be a
And
problem.
it's shards, and they're shards. They're little sharp particles. It's not like
Yeah.
it's eroded or anything like it is here on Earth.
Yeah, I imagine that some of the first colonists will have to be extremely careful of this. We'll have to be extremely careful of it no matter what. That and Mars, because Mars is super dry, super dusty, and so that's going to be an issue. But anyway, I think that's going to be a wrap. I don't know that we have any more questions here. We have some comments, but Brett Blake says they are talking about connecting the PMC8 using using Wi-Fi. He says a $5 Wi-Fi dongle works very well. There you go. So maybe that's what you should use. Moon silicosis. Yeah, I think that will be a real thing. Anyways, Jeff Wise, thank you. Great show today. Thank you. Some good questions and good interaction with the chat here. And tomorrow, Kent will be back on with me for the second edition of the FirstLight Chronicles. So I will continue to challenge Kent to come up with recommendations on what he can do for the least amount of money. Okay, so that's the challenge there. But part of our conversation too will be how to find used stuff. How to a lot of people never buy new. They always buy used stuff, and they're always trading and swapping and stuff like that. A friend of mine who does a ton of that is Steve Edberg, who former scientist at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He has a T-shirt that says "Astronomical Scrounger." That's how he describes himself. But you can find super deals if you're buying it used, and even broken stuff. If you're handy, you can make things. If you like 3D printing stuff and that kind of thing, you can. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and you can have some very advanced stuff for.
I know there's some
Dobsonian.
There's some Dobsonian scopes that have broken rocker boxes that people rebuild or build new rocker boxes.
Oh yeah, right.
Tube.
Yeah, and we have parts too. So if you're looking for a part, call us up and see if we have an objective lens or a mirror or something like that, because we often get those kinds of things. So if you're handy and want to do that, we'll help you out. Okay. Anyway, I think that's going to be our show for today. You got anything else, Jerry?
No, I think it a great show today. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, you guys take care, and as my friend always used to say, Jack Horkheimer, keep looking up, and we will see you soon.
You're showing your desktop.
Good. Let's fix this. Here we go. How about that? How about that?
How about that?
How about that?